Evening, Leroy. How are you?
Good. How are you, Sam?
Good. I'm tired. You know those weeks that you need one more day.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
where I have a I it it's just I have a lot. There's just a lot going on, and it's nothing like bad. Like yesterday, I did a center college basketball game, and then on
Hi.
I've got center game on Saturday. I've got this on Wednesday. I've got another high school game on Friday that we'll talk about as it goes along. So it's just one of those that, like, if it was Tuesday, I would be in a lot better shape. But I'm not in the position that I want to be in tomorrow, just because of that is going to be extremely busy. But I think you kind of know what I'm saying with that.
I have women's basketball tomorrow, and I spent a good majority of the day at a high school signing for college and at the DMV. So
Oh,
I am way behind of where I'd like to be as far as trying to get stuff prepped for tomorrow night's game. Not that it's going to be a good game; it's going to be a blowout, but I'd still like to be a little bit more better shape than what I am right now as far as getting prep done for
and,
a basketball game.
and see, that was the thing for me is that last week was busy week as well, and on Sunday I probably should have gotten ahead on some prep, but I just said, you know what, I just need a day where I
Yep.
where I can kind of sit there and watch some football, play some video games, and so on.
Yeah.
And I paid the price for it on Monday. I ended up having dinner with a friend and was out later, so I was up late Monday. So I've just been kind of playing catch up. And my football prep, since I did a basketball game on Tuesday, that had been my focus for the previous 2 days. So and I know you're the same way. I'm very much a creature of habit, where I know that if I'm doing like a college game, I know this day is this, this day is this, this day is this, this day is this. So I know that it is. And I did a pretty good job catching up before podcast here this evening, but I'm still not quite where I need to be. So tomorrow will just have to be a really busy day.
And the thing is I have almost all of my stuff is at my work computer, right? A lot of my stuff for my prep and a lot of my things that I do are on my work computer. So like I'm completely fine with being at work. I got to leave early on Tuesday to go home. I got home at like 2:00 and I felt like I was supposed to be doing something. And I felt so annoyed that I felt like I was supposed to be doing something. I ended up still doing work sitting at home, but I know a lot of people are like, oh, I can't wait to go home. I'm quite comfortable because I'm not actually doing a lot of work when I'm at work. So I'm pretty comfortable just sitting in my office doing things that I need to do to catch up, whether that's, actual work stuff or just scrolling of what I need to scroll for sports information. But yeah, I'm just so going home was a blessing and a curse because like that was like I felt like that was 3 hours that I could have been doing something productive at work. It's just weird. I hate it.
And see, for me, now that we've begun the process of working from home, I'm always home. So there's really no difference when it comes to that at all. We got a good show planned for you today. I was getting blown up over the weekend with some. Paul, I do not control that. That's Leroy.
Actually, I did that by accident.
I can do this. I believe I can. Here we go. Look, I think I can change it. In fact, we'll even do this to make John happy. There we go. Are we happy now? Is everybody happy now?
No, because you know what? For the rest of the night, people are going to come in and out of the podcast and be like, oh, what's Slurpee? What's that?
Or, see, I like this, that we can even do this. How about this? This will work a little bit better. We'll keep it that way. And do it there and keep it that way, because somebody was blowing up my Facebook messages over the weekend about a certain Caleb Williams, and I'm gonna give you one guess as to who it potentially was.
It was not me.
It was not you. So who is the number one fan of Caleb Williams that we know?
Paul Reeves loves Caleb Williams.
Loves Caleb Williams. So we'll have to talk about that. Bengals. Wild game on Thursday Night Football against the Ravens. There's a takeaway that I know we've talked about that I want to bring up with you.
Yeah.
I want to at least mention Kentucky. They had a big win last night.
I'm very proud. They played a very good.
And then having our weekly segments as well in there as well. But we got to recap our pick contest from last week. You will smartly pick the Cougs against Iroquois. I want to come back to that game here in a moment. Grace County won 49-0. I think it was the final score. It was never really a game.
Watched a little bit of it.
I'm sorry. those are the hard. Let's come back to that. I want to come back to that here in just a few minutes.
I was more listening to the broadcaster than I was actually watching the game.
Yeah, but those I want to talk about that again. There was no Taylorville game, no Kentucky game, no Northwestern game. We all predicted WKU to beat New Mexico State. We got that point. We all predicted the Ravens. We all got that point. We all predicted the Bears. Didn't get that point. Did not get that point. Alabama is who America and I picked. We got the point there. Leroy, we got the point for saying that BYU would beat Utah. Some controversy at the end of that game as well, including Utah's AD going on a rant about it.
A big rant about it. He gonna get fined if not behind the scenes.
He got fined $40,000 for that.
Right, but that's one of those. Sorry, that's one of those where I feel like there's a whole lot more than just a fine. I feel like that's a uncomfortable Zoom call.
And maybe it was, but at the same time, what are they gonna do to him, kind of thing? Giants were American myself pick. Leroy, you picked the Panthers and got the point there. In Germany, I was the lone one to go with Georgia. Did not get any points there. So because of that, again, I had one less opportunity for points. But Leroy, you came away with 6. America had 5. I had 4. Was the total from last week. Again, I had one less opportunity for points because of Grayson County. So the overall standings, I have 66, Leroy 59, and America with 56. We'll have our pick contest as the show goes along. But we can talk about Grayson County here for a minute. It was interesting, Leroy. That game was scheduled to start at 6:30 Central Time. And they were playing a team from Louisville. Louisville to Grayson County is about an hour away, give or take. On a bus, maybe an hour 10, hour and 15. So game starts at 6:30. Remember that?
Yeah. Yep.
About 5:05, maybe 5:10, Brian Jones, head coach for Grayson County, gets a text from Iroquois. Hey, we're just leaving. We're just leaving Louisville. An hour and 10 minutes before the game was scheduled to start.
Oh.
So the game did not start until 7:30 local time.
Oh, we got to have logos out. Daniel's only going to be here for a few moments.
Oh. Yeah, it's in a cup today. I'm just drinking tea. So because of that, we started an hour late. And that was a interesting thing. And those games are always the toughest because the other team was completely overmatched. And those are the hardest games to broadcast because you never really know what's going to happen. And it's weird that is because it's so hard because you want to have mercy in some ways.
I would argue that calling a blowout is harder when you're winning than when you're losing. Because the thing is when you're losing, there are still bright spots that you can find for your team most of the time. When you are blowing out the other team, especially when you're on the road, it is so awkward because you really can't get excited after you're up by a lot. Even if you're, it's just for me, and maybe it's not for everybody, but for me, it's much more comfortable.
I let it ride. I'm hated when I show up at a place because they know that I'm there to cheer.
That doesn't surprise me. That
I'm there to cheer on the Cougs.
Gormley's hated in other people's broadcast booths. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Grayson County, though, this week will host North Bullitt on Friday. We'll have the pick for that. If Grayson County wins,
which one's easier for you?
Winning or losing in a blowout?
Yeah,
I think they're about the same. They're about the same.
Yeah,
yeah, because there's pros and cons to both. To me, when you have a blowout, you get to focus on the younger players who don't get in the game as much, which is always fun because mom and dad.
It's usually when I played.
Yeah, it's the Leroy's in, or it's the future, and that's always one of the fun aspects of that. And so that was really good for that. Okay, so that was that aspect with it. But yeah, late game. So I was expecting to get home at a relatively early time. Instead, I got home later than I typically would for an actual game, which was so fun. But Grayson County will play again on Friday night. We can talk about that as we get into our pick contest a little bit later on in the show. But we can, let's see what Paul says here. I went to a high school game Friday, rival game. Dogs came out to a 10-0 lead and didn't score another point. Lost 21-10. Oof. That's a tough one. Tough one to go.
Underdogs.
We can start with the Bengals, and then we'll finish with the Chicago, which I'm sure you had the best time watching that game on Sunday, Leroy. I mean, three. We'll come back. We'll come back to it. It's okay. I want to just let you mentally prepare yourself. So I'll go be depressed first. And my biggest takeaway of it is it's just like, what the hell does Joe Burrow have to do? I mean, over 400 yards, 4 touchdowns.
I mean, Chase killed.
Lamar
killed about 400 fantasy teams.
Oh yeah, Chase
America.
55 fantasy points, I think, is what he had, and they lost. And I mean, I said this on our Bengals podcast, and I know I might be a smidge biased, but my biggest takeaway from that game is that Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL, and it's not close right now. And my reasoning for that is that the Bengals went on the road, hostile environment on Thursday Night Football against a team that very well could win the Super Bowl. He didn't have his best offensive lineman protecting his blind side. He was pressured 30 times in the game. He didn't have one of his elite tight ends or elite wide receivers.
Caleb gets that in one half.
And should have won the football game if his defense would have gotten one more stop. And that's where I think just the biggest takeaway is that it's like Joe Burrow, like there is not a quarterback in the NFL. And I'm counting Patrick Mahomes in there. And
Mahomes is having an awful year this year.
Yeah, well, I'm saying better
overall.
And Lamar. Listen, Lamar is not better than Joe Burrow, and it's like he is athletic as all get out. But Joe Burrow is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson is probably going to win the MVP. But
John's gonna hate what I have to say. After starting off the season ridiculously slow, Hurts has come back to have a fairly decent year as well. I mean, let's face it, he was awful the first four or 5 weeks of the year as far as what he's used to doing. But he's quietly come back to have himself I know, because he's one of my fantasy football quarterbacks. He's quietly come back and had himself a somewhat decent last 5-6 weeks. So that's been another great QB that's really been playing better.
We've talked about this too a couple of times, and it's not the reason the Bengals lost the game. And I'm not saying that there's plenty of reasons that we could jump into that. No, and that is the laziest excuse that people make. It is, on that 2-point conversion attempt, which Bengals made the right decision going for 2. I will die on that hill.
You've always been a big supporter of going for 2 always.
Yeah, go for the kill.
Yep.
Go for the kill. Yep. You're on the road, go for the kill. And I know analytics actually surprisingly said you should have probably kicked the extra point, but I think that's one where I'm like, no, I think they made the right decision in doing it. It just didn't work. But it was the lack of the no calls on that play.
Yeah.
And we've discussed this on, has officiating gotten worse? Has it been that officiating is just there's so many more camera angles? And that's the reason why we're seeing these calls at a higher level. But then my all-around question for this, and to you, Leroy, as well, is okay, that it's a problem. These calls have continuously happened at the end of big games. Can it be fixed? And I saw one person bring up a point, I think, in the Bengals group. And it was an interesting, because we never hear solutions to this. And here was their suggestion, is that you give NFL coaches and they just used a blue flag as an example. And they're allowed to use the blue flag under 2 minutes in the fourth quarter. And that is to challenge a penalty or to challenge a no call, which is great. Like, I like the idea, but then you think back to when pass interferences could have been challenged a couple of years ago, and the NFL very rarely ever overturned it, even if it was completely obvious because they didn't want to admit that they were wrong.
Right.
Is there a way, though, that we can fix this?
I don't know, but I want to actually. I'm glad you brought that up because I was watching the Bengals game. I was watching the last 5 minutes of that Bengals game, and the face masks that occurred on the very, very last play. They interviewed Burrow afterwards, and Burrow said, and I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember exactly what he said, but you will never get those calls in the last play of the game. And what did it make me think of, Sam? It made me think of the Commanders-Bears game where there was blatant holding that you could see on the very last play of the game. Both times of which I read in the comments multiple times, you're never going to get that call in the last play of the game.
which
And
is
my question is
which is bullshit.
right. If I'm going to call plays, if I'm going to call a penalty 5 seconds into the game, that needs to be a penalty. We don't have separate rules for the last.
It's the same thing in basketball where
yes,
you can murder somebody on the last play because it's a foul.
You and I see that all the time at the basket, especially in the last minute
Swallowing
and a half
the
of the game. And again, I tend to agree with you, but this is the same thing as umpires admitting that you hit the nail on the head. These guys are not going to call stuff because they don't want to admit they're wrong unless it's absolutely blatant. And again, I'm still of the strong opinion that if you're going to call stuff with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, you better be calling the same stuff on the very, very last play of the game.
It's just for me, and I know this is sounding like such a petty's not the right word, but a Bengals fan with this realm of is Patrick Mahomes would have gotten that call. Patrick Mahomes would have gotten that call.
Yeah.
And what the hell does Joe Burrow need to do? Because listen, I mean, and John's right. You just need consistency. But you need consistency against quarterback. Because I don't necessarily love that Mahomes, or if you want to say Burrow's elite in that category, should be dealt with differently than a Caleb Williams or a Anthony Richardson or a.
But that was my biggest frustration
Daniel
with Justin
Jones
Fields
or whatever
last
it
year.
is.
You can go on YouTube right now and pull up a Justin Fields late hits, and you will pull up. It's a 15-minute
Burrow
video.
has quite a few too, yeah.
Yeah, 15-minute video of just late hits that Justin Fields got on a regular basis out there. And you're just not seeing the elite top quarterbacks. Brady's never getting that. Brady will get that call if somebody even breathes wrong on him. Mahomes is getting that call. And it's just one of those things where, and I would argue that even guys, like Lamar and Hurts sometimes get those calls as well. But it's frustrating because, again, the biases of the league really, really shows sometimes. I always, and part of it's just my hatred of the team, but I always felt Green Bay was a lot of the same way. It just felt like there were certain teams that got calls. And the story about Green Bay was, well, they're owned by the fans. Since they're owned by we don't want to upset but it's just stupid. And it's over, and the NFL needs to figure out how to do something because the amount of, rigged was trending after the Chiefs game. That Chiefs Broncos game.
Well,
the odds
that
of
was
a 25-yard field.
Yeah,
come on. The odds of a 25-yard field goal getting blocked. Stop it. You make that kick 99% of the time.
But I mentioned at the start of the show as well that my phone was just blowing up on Sunday, and somebody was having himself a time. And it was old Paul Reeves. And it was sending me screenshots of Caleb Williams' stats. And I felt bad. For one, I was embarrassed by the Bengals scoring 10 points to open up the year against the New England Patriots. And I thought it can't get worse than that. And Chicago Bears said, hold my beer.
I have so much.
3 points.
I have so much on this that we could easily take the next 2 hours.
Let's just go 5 minutes.
We're not going to, but I'm just saying I could easily spend the next 2 hours. What did I say last Wednesday? I said last Wednesday that this team looked like they quit. This team looked like they had stopped caring. I have never seen a play.
And like John, they do have a decent defense, but
they do. But
3
not
points
to
is 3 points. Yeah,
not to
3 points is 3 points.
Let's be real here. There's a reason the Patriots are 2-7, and it's not because of their defense, okay? But the lack of accountability, the lack of GAF was none. And even interviews with the coaching staff only made you angrier because it felt like you were listening to politicians out there. No, we gotta do better in the seams, and we gotta play better on the grass. And we're looking at things. So Monday he says we're looking at things. Tuesday they fire Waldron, and part of me hopes that they were just keeping stuff close to their chest because they didn't want to give Green Bay an advantage. But they're not smart enough to do that. They're not smart enough to do that. They just literally have zero clue what they're doing. And I think that's my biggest frustration is there's no when they asked Keenan Allen what went wrong with Waldron, Allen said he was way too soft and let the players do what they wanted. Now, listen, I am not in an NFL locker room. I've never been in an NFL locker room, and I don't think I'll ever get to be in an NFL locker room. But there has to be some semblance of that would never fly under Bill Belichick. Do you know what I'm saying? Like stuff that I felt like the Bears were doing would never fly under certain head coaches. And there's just too much of it's fine. It's fine, guys. Guys, it's okay. I don't want, guys, it's okay for my NFL head coach. I don't. I want a guy who either can reach his players like your guys can. Okay. All right. I want a coach like Campbell who is buddies with his guys but knows when to actually do work. Those guys want to play for Campbell.
Paul asks who would be head coach right now that would be the guy that could turn it around. And I already know who you're going to say. Let me guess. You're going to say Ben Johnson.
No, because again, I don't, and it's nothing against Ben Johnson. I think he'll be a fantastic coach wherever he goes. Honestly, I wanted Kingsbury. That's who I really wanted. His work with Caleb already, and his work at just understanding, that mindset and some of these young guys, I think he could reach them a little bit better than Ben Johnson can. Because quite frankly, I don't know how much of that's Ben Johnson. I don't know how much of that's Campbell. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't want a soft coach. I'm so tired of and because that's all we've had. That's all we've had. We had Tressman, who didn't know what he was doing. John Fox, who was so old, he probably needed a cane to get to practice. Nagy, who talked himself, he convinced himself that he was good. And Eberflus, who is a fantastic defensive coach, but can't do the offense whatsoever. There is no reason on paper that this team should have gone 3 weeks with one touchdown. And a big part of that's Caleb Williams. A big part of that is the offensive line. And a big part of that is a coaching staff who doesn't know what they are doing. I'm also a little irritated, as long as we're on the subject, with the amount of BS stories that have been just coming out lately about stuff that's going on. The players want Bayington. The players want this. The players want that. And you talk to the players say, we never said that. The other one that I saw today was Caleb Williams has not met with the new offensive coordinator. Not true at all. The actual question was, have you met with the coordinator since he became the offensive coordinator? He said, no, I haven't really had a chance to talk to him yet. Oh, he hasn't talked to it. They take one little thing and they run with it. And I'm getting really tired of everybody just biting on and latching on to all of these ridiculous statements. And I know it's a part of sports. I get that. But my goodness.
Have you been on the internet before?
Yeah, I know. But it is just crazy how much that team fell off from one play.
your confidence level in Caleb Williams. Let's
About
say on a scale.
35.
Let's say on a. Okay, I was going to give you a scale of 1 to 10.
So
1
3.5.
being okay. So 1 being he's going to be working at the local McDonald's in a couple of years, and 10 being he's Joe Burrow.
Oh,
Patrick Mahomes.
4 then. I'll say a 4.
Okay.
Okay. Lower than what I'd like it to be.
So you're saying he's Daniel Jones
at this point? Yep.
So you're saying he's Daniel Jones, and this is
Somehow,
always going to be one of these things.
He will make $106 million. No one will understand how.
And this is going to be one of these things that, and this is just how the NFL works, and it's the same thing that the Panthers are dealing with right now, is that all he is going to be compared to the rest of his career is Jaden Daniels.
Yep.
Just like Bryce Young is being compared to CJ Stroud. It was just like the Bengals when they had the number 1 pick in 2020. They had to make sure they got the right guy. Because if Justin Herbert would have been better than Joe Burrow, I
still maintain, and I will always maintain, that Patrick Mahomes, no one would know who Patrick Mahomes was if he would have been a Bear. You cannot prove to me that man would have survived and done well in Chicago.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's interesting to say. Kentucky, though, last night, Leroy.
Hey, big win over Duke. Congratulations.
Huge win for
big
Kentucky
win for
against
that program.
Duke
When's the last
in
time
the
you guys
champions.
Beat Duke?
15. So it'd been 9 years. And they don't play that often. They play once every couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But big win for Kentucky. Mark Pope, the new head coach, had his first signature win. And now they can kind of start to roll because they have a couple of games coming up here. You've got Lipscomb, you've got like Wagner or something in there. But I like that Paul and John have both said the same thing. Andy Reid helps Mahomes. Andy Reid helps Mahomes. Great minds think alike there in the old comment section with that. But
they have the new guy, the new offensive coordinator, who is Bryce Young's coordinator when Bryce was awful. But Bryce, what was his name? Thomas,
Brown.
Yeah, Thomas Brown. He was only their offensive coordinator for like 4 games.
Mm.
Most of that stuff was done under a different person.
But it was good to see Kentucky have a big game on the big stage. That was cool last night.
Yeah.
It'd been a while since they'd won one of those big games, kind of when the nation was watching. It was also a really, really good basketball game. I don't know if you watched any of it. But it was very entertaining game, and I love college basketball, so I'm glad that it's back, and it's also good to potentially have Kentucky relevant again in college basketball, which feels even better with it. I did not know this was it was in Atlanta, Paul, so I did not go. I wish I would have loved to have been there, but no, I was doing a college game as Center played Greenville, and it's funny because Greenville's not far from you. They were what? An hour maybe, if that. And there's a couple girls on Greenville's team that you, I don't want to say but you at least know who they are. You've called their games.
Yeah, my ears perked up when I saw those names. I was like, how do you know who those girls are?
And I do all my research diving into them, and they didn't make the trip. I was like, oh, and I always love that. It's like when you have the best factoid, but there's just no way to break it in and so on. And it's
well, yeah. And I had that on Friday because UIS played a team that was brand new Division II. They were in NAIA before. Okay. So they just made the jump to Division II. And I checked all their players and there were no stats underneath any of the players. Nothing. No information, no facts, nothing. So I'm literally going to their previous schools and pulling up old rosters to try to get stats and information from. And I see one of them was like his favorite pregame food was Skittles. So UIS is blowing this team out, and it's the 5 minutes left in the second half, and this kid comes out, and I was all like, hey, Mike, my color. Hey, his favorite food, pregame food is Skittles. And Mike looks at me like, all right. And I'm like, you don't understand what I went through to get these. I'm throwing it in there.
Yeah, it's always funny on just the things that we go through just to get a simple factoid with that. Marshawn Lynch also did love Skittles. Yes. John is correct in that. Do you have tidbits?
I do have tidbits. Let's get to them. I want to start off by apologizing for how much I'm going to butcher this last name, but FC Cincinnati's Marco Angulo passed away at the age of 22 from a car accident. Big news for FC Cincinnati. Like I said, he was only 22. FC Memphis is moving to California. They have been bought out, and land agreements, and Buttons is out of a job.
I was gonna say, their poor security guard. What are they gonna do with him? Send him a link. Get him on here right
now. The Big Ten has 4 out of the top 5 spots in college football. Ironically, if the situation was reversed, we'd hear how great the SEC was. Just saying.
Well, let's see how many of those teams actually make the championship game.
Well, and that's just it. Like Indiana's played like 2 teams that are like in the top.
Right now, it's Alabama at Indiana. Nothing against Indiana, but welcome to the big leagues.
Yeah,
but also that'd be the hardest ticket to get in Bloomington ever.
I know it. So the Bears pick up, the Bears pick up a new offensive coordinator. Too little, too late. We'll find out. He's saying all the right things, but again, I've heard saying the right things the last 3 years. So Bears cut Nate Davis. He played 13 games in 3 seasons for $30 million.
I do appreciate too right now that as soon as we started talking about tidbits, you got a little closer to the screen. It's just like sign that you're getting older. I know, it's just like the sign that you're getting older, because it was like, let me get my readers on, see how close I can get.
Greg Popovich has stroke. Poor guy. Baseball moves early. Darno went to the Angels. There were some other early moves here already. That's something unusual. We don't usually get baseball moves until March, so I'm excited to see some guys moving here early and getting that all straightened out and taken care of early. Bronny Jr., part-time G League. Sounds like he's only going to be doing home games. I know. I was hoping the Cubs would get him, because I know the Cubs are interested in Fried. I was hoping they get both of them, because the Cubs really needed some help at catcher. Anyway, Aaron Rodgers says he will most likely play in 2025, 2026. I'm sure you're all excited about that. Anthony Richardson will start this week. Trevor Lawrence will not. He is out with a non-throwing shoulder injury. Speaking of quarterbacks that had to be benched and are coming back, Bryce back in form. Bryce has been playing fairly decent for Carolina. See how much that stays going for him. Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. Who wins, and do we care?
No.
I know you don't care. I'm asking Paul. Paul cares.
I honestly, I might watch a hockey game before that.
Obviously, see, Paul and I are older. Really? I'm telling you, this is a bigger deal for us older guys, man. I know you youngsters don't care about boxing, but
why do you care?
I don't know. Boxing brings me back to
like I said, I have watched one boxing match in my life. Like as far as, I mean, I've seen the highlights, but as far as pay-per-view, and it was when Pacquiao Mayweather fought back in, I guess this was 2015.
Yeah.
I left my senior prom early to go do this and hang out with some of my friends. We all went to their house, and it was an awful fight. And I remember one of my buddies was really into it. And I remember asking him, is this boxing? He's like, no, this is crap. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, because I'm not a fan, and I'm just I don't know if I'm just not into this.
One thing that we were talking about this week at work, the average human punch is 150 PSI. Okay? The average punch is 150 PSI. A professional boxer's punch is 800. Okay? Mike Tyson in his prime was 1,800.
How many shots would it take him to knock you out?
Half. Are you kidding me?
Could you take one?
Could I take one?
Yes. Could you make it a second shot and still be awake or standing up?
No, but I could take a punch, obviously, right? I took a punch in the Army and absolutely cleaned my clock.
From Mike Tyson?
No, from a guy who was 6'5", though.
What'd you do?
Combatives class. Stop. You had to take a punch to graduate.
The Army is why? It's like the whole like, don't they make police officers get tased so they know what it's like? I'm like, why?
Yes.
Why? It's like I'm waiting for the day that the Army's like, we're gonna shoot you so you know what it feels like.
No, but just imagine the first guys wearing bulletproof vests. All right, I want you to hold this in front of you. I promise it's not gonna hurt. It's not gonna hurt. Why are you pointing that gun at me, John? But no, I listen. For boxing was on every Saturday night in my house growing up when I was younger. You know, it was just a big. I mean, it was a big deal. You got to watch some really, really cool fighters and guys that were. I mean, on paper,
your dad watched boxing?
Every once in a while it was on. Absolutely.
Really? See, I would have thought your that doesn't seem like
he also liked watching. He also liked watching wrestling on Saturday mornings as well, because he always would be able to predict who'd win the fight.
See, I felt like your dad isn't Saturday night in like 48-hour mysteries on Saturday nights or like.
Yeah, what did he watch on Saturday nights? It was always some like
I know Hannity's not on Saturday nights, so he's
no. It was always some like 80s like movie or like Star
Columbo
Trek like that. Yeah. Rockford Files. All right. Let's see other news. A hockey player was suspended for 5 games for calling an opposing player a Mennonite.
It is really raining here too. I don't know if it's been raining there. It's coming down good.
Joey Logano won the championship in NASCAR, finishing in 14th place.
Because I saw if they kept this the way that the standings used to be, it would have been Christopher Bell would have won the championship. I think that's right.
Yep. But Joey, like a lot of people were ticked off. How dare somebody that's that far down wins the championship? And the thing is you know, you look at teams that are like, you know, 7th, 8th place that sometimes sneak into the playoffs. That, I mean, it happens. It doesn't happen often, but a lot of people are upset that Joey Logano won the championship, other than John Malone, who loves it. Speaking of racing, Romain Grosjean for IndyCar does not have a place to race. He blames marketing and the hybrid engine. I blame the fact that he couldn't finish higher than 15th place, but that's fine. And then, would you rather be 0-4 against top 10 teams in close losses in basketball, or be 4-0 with blowouts at home against easy opponents?
What?
I said, would you rather be 0-4 against top 10 teams with close losses in basketball, or be 4-0 with absolute blowouts at home against easy opponents?
You're going to need to say that again, because I just got attacked by a bug. Where did this bug even come from?
You want me to say it again?
Okay, yeah, like, you probably just saw me jump. No, it's climbing on the screen. It's coming for you, Leroy. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Now I just want to, like, get rid of it. Why are you here? Like, oh, it's coming on you, Leroy. It's now running on your face. And now it's on Paul Reeves' face over on the right side of my screen. Will you go away? Oh, now it's flying.
Oh, I saw it. I saw it.
I didn't know that thing could fly.
I saw it.
Where did it go? Oh, it's flying now at the... Okay, yeah, you can stay up there at the light. How did you get in here? Okay, at least you saw it.
I did.
It was like up on my wall, and when you were saying that, it like jumped down, and I was okay. So top 10 teams losing.
Basically, the story was: would you rather be 0-4 against top 10 teams? Right, you're playing like, you know, you're losing against the number 2, the number 5, the number 4, the number 1, or would you rather be 4-0 and just blow out some, you know, university, you know, whatever. Yeah.
Just win, baby, win. That's all that matters.
It was the discussion that I saw on Reddit this morning. I thought that was kind of interesting. And then finally, actually not finally, I have a couple more. Premier Lacrosse League is welcoming the Women's Lacrosse League. Is this a trend? Hockey Women's League is expanding as well, and we're seeing a lot more women's sports. Boy, they're going to be ticked off when they find out Caitlin Clark's responsible for multiple women's leagues around sports. Mm-hmm. And for the 3rd consecutive year, the Broncos have proactively installed a brand new field in season at Empower Field at Mile High. In the interest of player safety, the team brought in 14 truckloads of Kentucky bluegrass from a turf farm in Platteville, Colorado, completing the field replacement in 36 hours ahead of Sunday's game against the Falcons. Something that we've seen in Chicago before, too. The field gets really beat up pretty good that they need to replace it every once in a while. I'm sure John somewhere is complaining about needing roofs for every team. Every team needs a roof.
There's your accent popping out there. We call this a roof.
Well, what can you do?
Gotta love the old accents, right?
There are my tidbits for the day, my friend.
And that, you know what that means, right? It's time to cue the music.
Yeah.
For Leroy's logos. Leroy, you've gotten 5 out of the last 8.
I am actually amazed that I did that well.
You are on a little bit of a roll for this week's Leroy's logos. Would you like 1, 2, 3, or 4? These are still AI logos.
4.
Number 4.
Ah,
Number 4.
Did we do this one last week?
No. Well, there was one similar last week, I guess. Alrighty, Leroy's just got to tell me. It's a relatively, honestly, easy game. That's the thing. It's simple. He's just got to tell me what score it is.
It's a very simple game. It just sucks.
And remember, Leroy does have one cheat that he can, or a lifeline, rather. It's not really a cheat. A cheat would be if Forrest was watching.
Oh, dude. Forrest isn't a cheat. Forrest is a
gimme.
Like, DLC.
So you do have your one lifeline, should you want to use it at some point. But Leroy, what is this one? Or would you like to use your lifeline?
I don't know this one. I don't want to use my lifeline.
So you're just going to take the miss?
I'll say... Yeah, I'll just take the miss.
Take the miss. So you're locking in no answer. Paul Reeves says Ole Miss.
Oh, that's not bad.
John says Ole Miss as well.
Oh, man.
And the correct answer is not Ole Miss.
Ah.
The Ole Miss, they're the Rebels. That's is Gonzaga.
Oh.
Gonzaga. The Gonzaga Bulldogs. Had to go with college basketball. 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah, I wasn't thinking basketball still. 2.
Number 2.
Is that a panther or an owl? What is this? What is this thing doing?
This is AI. Whatever AI thinks this logo is. It does have a little bit of a panther-owl hybrid look to it. I didn't realize that the first time I'd seen it.
Oh, man.
It's a pole.
It's a pole.
Alrighty. Everybody does have his one lifeline if he wants to.
I'll go with the University of Southern Florida.
Southern Florida is his guess. Are you locking that in with your final answer?
Yeah.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Pittsburgh.
Oh, Pitt.
The Pittsburgh Panthers. You're right on saying Panthers, though. Alrighty. Would you like
3?
1 or 3? 3.
Oh, that's odd.
AI struggled with this one.
What
AI does is it gives me 4 suggestions.
This was the best one?
Yes. For one of them, it completely used a completely different nickname. Like, I put on there that it is the new logo. And it completely, like, gave them, like, I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, that's not even remotely in the same, like, ballpark of answers.
Oh, my goodness.
You think you know this one?
I'm going to go with Oklahoma State.
Oklahoma State. Are you locking it in?
Yeah.
Oklahoma State is his answer, and Oklahoma State is Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All right. Good deal.
It like literally made them, because what is their nickname? Do you know?
Oklahoma is the Sooners. Oklahoma State is the Cowboys, right?
Yes, you're right. So I think that it was like they made them the Wildcats or something. Or there was like a bear or something. And I was like, okay, I'm not that big of a jerk because that would completely throw anything off because it's not even remotely in the same ballpark. Okay, so you've gotten one right. There is your final one.
All right. Since I will take my lifeline on this one. What do we think, guys?
Do you know this?
USC?
I'm assuming this is Paul guessing the last one, but I'll at least show it here. On this episode here, the final one, you're 1 out of 3 so far. So Leroy's using it as a lifeline.
Teams that have maroon. Minnesota Golden Gophers, USC. Trying to think. Arizona State.
Well, the comment section is not helping you out, Leroy.
I see that.
There's not a single guess right now.
That's awesome. That's great.
Alrighty. Well, sorry, your lifeline has led you to nothing right now.
Nothing.
So, what would you like to guess?
You know what? I was leaning at. I'm gonna go with the Sun Devils. That's Arizona State, right? I'm gonna go with Arizona State.
Oh, wait. You got a comment here.
Oh.
Paul's saying Boston College.
Oh.
Boston College. And John is saying Maryland.
No, Maryland's a little bit more redder, and I think Sam's already done Maryland for AI logos this year. So I'm gonna go with Arizona State.
Going against Paul and John.
Yep.
And going with Arizona State. Correct. Arizona State is the correct answer for that one.
That's the Sun Devils, right?
Our stuff is lagging, Paul says. Interesting. Yes, you are right. It is the Sun Devils. We're lagging. Interesting. I'm not seeing any signs of lagging on my end, but I don't know. That is the Sun Devils, though. Leroy, you are correct in saying that.
Cool.
Alrighty. So it's now time for our play clock segment. Why is it so big? My goodness. Where we have 40 seconds to answer a question that the other person has not known about. Leroy, would you like to ask your answer?
I will ask first, my friend.
Okay, I'm ready.
Throughout every sport, what is, in your opinion, the best jersey number?
69.
Nice.
No,
Nice.
It is, he's saying our comments are lagging. That's interesting. I mean, I always like 21. I was either 21 or 1, usually when I played. I like 21 because of Sean Casey. He was always one of my favorites growing up. And then also Sammy Sosa, I think, wore 21 too. And I always liked Sammy Sosa.
He celebrated his birthday
I
this
liked
week.
one. Which, the white Sammy Sosa or the actual Sammy Sosa?
Shut up.
Sammy Sosa these days. Wow. Like,
Yeah.
Didn't he like get addicted to that? I don't know. I'm off topic, but I answered the question. Didn't he like get addicted to that cream or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. Weird.
But the doctors, I guess he's gotten to the point where if he stops using it, like he'll get sick.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What, Leroy's simple question for you here? What is the best comedy of all time?
The best comedy of all time?
Movie
comedy. Boy, there's so many choices you could go with. I think, you break this down into categories, but honestly, I think I'm going to go with Hangover. Hangover is probably one of the best comedies because there's enough of a storyline, but it's still got enough humor that keeps you interested. What is the Spaceballs is probably my Spaceballs and Super Troopers are probably my all-time favorite comedies, but I think the best comedy ever is Hangover.
Step Brothers is up there too for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a really good one. Really good one. Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Maybe. You get to be in charge of a sport that is not one of the top 4 or soccer. What sport are you taking control of?
None of them. NASCAR team, I guess.
You're not going to be
I don't know.
you're not going to
Like,
be the billiards like
I guess
commissioner.
a NASCAR team, maybe, or something. Like, maybe that's it. Or I guess I'm the commissioner. I don't know. I feel like that's a losing game, no matter what you're taking. You know what? Maybe esports. That might be the correct route to do, because there's actually money probably in esports, especially as it
There's
continues to
definitely
go
money.
along. And so that would probably be my answers, is that I would take esports, because at least there's something moving into the future in that realm.
All right.
Here's an interesting question for you, Leroy, and Paul and John. I'm interested into what you all say with this too, because it's something that I've been thinking about, and I don't really know as to why.
It's always good when it starts like that.
Because I think I've asked you this question in a similar realm before, but I've kind of switched it a little bit here, and it's a would you rather.
Oh no!
But you have to answer. Like there is no.
I'll
Like,
give you an answer.
Would you rather know the date that you die, but not the year?
This. Okay.
Or would you rather know the year that you die? So knowing that you die in 2030, or knowing that you die on November the 15th, but you don't know what year it is?
I think I'd go with the year. And I'll only say that I'm choosing the year because, like, every time I get close to the date, like, I would just absolutely panic. Like, I'd just lose it. Whereas if it was like a year, I could be like, all right, I've reached 2084. Like, I've done it.
You're giving yourself way too much credit.
I'm aware of that. I'll be lucky to hit 2040. Okay, let's be real here for a second. But no, date would just give me ulcers. I'd much rather have, like, you will die in 2043. So that way in 2042 I can just do everything I want to do and then sit down and play video games until I croak.
But at the same time, what happens if the answer to that question was 2025?
Well, then I'm getting off this podcast and I'm gonna go.
What if it was 2024?
Yeah.
It was just kind of one of those questions. I was like, I don't know. Like, and you see it here. Like, Paul says date, John says year.
I say year. I can't. I would lose my mind every
because
every September 5th. I'd lose my mind, man.
And it very well could be September 5th of 1970. You know, like or 20, whatever year. 2070. Yeah, you.
How old are you, Sam?
Yeah, you can. It is. I don't know. It's just an interesting, and I don't know how I would answer, because also how depressing would it be though, especially with us being younger.
Yeah.
If it would be like 2025.
Yeah, that'd be awful.
Would it?
Dave Coulier has cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Try to know who that is.
Uncle Joey from Full House.
Okay, that was before my time. Before my time. Yeah, that was like, I had to have been probably about 5 or 6 years older to really be into that. But Full House really wasn't a thing. And some people would watch like Nick at Night and so on, but I just, that was never really my thing. Leroy apparently has a new game this week.
We have a new game that we are debuting tonight. It's Guess the Autograph. So I'm going to give you guys the autograph. All you got to tell me is who is on the autograph. Now, for the week 1 of this is relatively easy. It's all National League players that played in the 90s.
Oh, gosh.
Okay? It's all three National League players that played in the 90s. All right? So, get things started here. Let's see if I can pull this up.
I'll ask you this, though, on mine while you're pulling it up.
Yeah.
Would you want to know the answer to one of those two?
No. Nope.
Would you want to know how you die?
Yes. I'd be all right with that.
Like car crash.
Yeah.
Like you'd be okay with knowing that?
Yep.
See, I don't know. John would want to know both. So John would want to know the exact date that he croaks, and I think that's cheating.
All right. Okay, I cannot see the comments on this one, Sam. So you're gonna have to help me out here. So here is autograph number 1.
Oh gosh, see, I'm gonna be really bad at this game, especially if you're going 90s.
Yeah, at least week 1, I'm going 90s. These are all players that played in the National League in the 90s.
Yeah, see, I don't know this. I don't know this.
Any comments?
Let's see here. Let's give Paul a second here to go in. So whose autograph is this? Interesting. Yeah, that's Joey Baseball Guy. Is it a Joey?
It is not.
See, I was gonna say, like, yeah, it's hard to. Can you zoom in a little bit?
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Just like use your. There you go. There we go. That'll at least. Yeah, no, I got nothing.
Nothing?
No.
All right, so this is Tony Gwynn.
Okay, I guess I can kind of see that now.
All right. Here's number 2.
Okay, so this has to be a Brave, right? 95 was the Braves, right?
Yep.
Well, I am going to have to just wait. I'm going to just let Paul answer this one.
See what Paul.
So
right?
Paul got Tony Gwynn on that. He got that one right. Is it one of the pitchers?
No.
Okay. See, I'm yeah. See, 90s is because that's before my time. It's so hard for me to do on that. So let's see what Paul comes up here with here. 95, because I assume it was Tony the Tiger. I don't think that's Tony the Tiger. I don't think he was on the Braves in 1995.
It doesn't help, but this was one of my favorite players growing up. He would eventually go on to play for the Yankees and the Athletics.
Okay, who is it?
It's Dave Justice.
Oh, he's a Kentuckian. He went to Thomas More in Northern Kentucky.
All right, and here's the last one.
Okay, I think I got this one.
Here's the last one.
Terry Pendleton was Paul's guess on that. Astros on this one?
Yeah.
First baseman?
Yeah.
Killed the Reds.
Yeah, and everybody else.
Nice goatee.
Yep.
Really nice goatee.
Wide batting stance.
Oh, yeah. Crouch down.
Yeah.
Old Jeff Bagwell.
Yeah, good job, Sam.
That's the one there. Yeah, that one. At least you can read his signature with that. The rest of them did not make sense.
All right, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad today. I think we might do that for a couple of weeks here and see how we like that.
See, I'm gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with logos, because my AI thing, I got a certain amount for free.
Oh no!
I've hit my free.
Can you find a new? You're gonna have to use a new email. Come on, you gotta treat this like the '90s.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out a different, because we did throwback. Maybe we'll just go back to regular.
And John, we're gonna do different sports every week.
Yeah, just no.
So hockey. Just because we did baseball this week, we'll do something different next week.
Just no hockey. No,
I won't give you hockey. I promise.
Yeah, because that Paul and I
that wouldn't be nice. I wouldn't give you hockey.
Paul and I would be out on that. There's no shot of doing this. Alrighty. How about some pick contests here?
Yes, sir.
Again, I'm up by 6. I think is what we said with this. So I've got a little bit of a lead. Sorry, I'm up by 7. I have 66, Leroy 59, America 56. But the downside is that once again this week I get one less game. I get one less game this week, which is a load of crap. But Taylorville basketball, I believe, returns next week. So this will be Friday. The last week. This will be the last week that I have one less point opportunity.
Next Friday.
And it starts off, so America and Leroy get to pick Grayson County hosting North Bullets. The Cougs are 9-2. North Bullet is 6-5. I think that's correct. 6-5.
Ooh.
They will host them. If Grayson County wins, they will advance to the regional championship for the first time since 1982. So it's a huge opportunity for the Cougars. Christie's picking the Cougs. Christy's picking the Cougs. America, you're going to get a pick next week any week, so you can pick against the Cougs if you want. But it'll be an opportunity there. Leroy, are you taking the Cougs or are you taking the Eagles of North
need
Bullitt?
you to understand that for the rest of the year, I'm not picking against Grayson County. So go Cougs.
Leroy's picking the Cougs to have what would be their biggest win in 42 years, taking on North Bullitt. Not necessarily as far as okay, John's picking the Cougs. Okay, I was gonna say he's. I thought he was gonna go against the Cougs there for a second.
You got to laugh at his joke because he's pretty proud of himself for that.
Cougs bite the bullet.
Yeah.
You hear that silence? I think that's kind of how we feel. So America and Leroy are both going with the Cougs to take down North Bullitt. If you remember, since it's all locked in here, because since Christy and John and Christy both picked Grayson, Paul can pick North Bullitt if he wants, but his vote will mean nothing when it comes to that. Paul is picking the Cougs, though. They beat North Bullitt 34-7 when they played earlier this season. So the Cougs will look like they'll be on their way to playing for regional championship maybe next week. Kentucky looking to get back into the winning column, Leroy. They will host Murray State on
why are you playing Murray State this late in the... I don't know why the SEC plays these crap schools at the very...
Listen, because we can't play Northwestern, so we need to play somebody.
No, we've got our game. Thank you very much.
I'm going to take Kentucky to win against Murray State.
Who's Alabama playing? The School of the Blind?
I don't know who Alabama plays this week, but I'm taking Kentucky to win. Who are you taking?
Kentucky.
Leroy's picking Kentucky, and I would assume America will also go with Kentucky because I think your comments aren't showing up very fast. But I don't really know, Paul. I noticed on Jungle Juice today it was a little slow, so I'm not sure if our system is having a little bit of issues.
Thing.
UK is America's pick as well. Northwestern hosts Ohio State, and I should have the clip. But if you remember back in, what was that, July?
I did.
Paul's taking Murray State, but it doesn't matter.
If Northwestern can beat Ohio State,
he is going to jump into Lake Michigan.
Jump into Lake Michigan and go for a swim.
Butt naked.
No, that wasn't part of the agreement. That was not part of the agreement, sir.
Where's your confidence level?
My confidence level, 98%.
So why not? Butt naked. He's going naked in there. So Northwestern hosts Ohio State, and if Northwestern wins, Leroy has to jump into Lake Michigan like this time of year too.
Yeah,
you don't get to wait until August.
It's not July. Like it's got to be like, and we'll live stream. We'll do the whole thing.
Oh yeah. Leroy, who you picking? Northwestern or Ohio State?
I mean, Ohio State by 50.
I'm picking Northwestern.
I bet you are.
I just want it to happen.
I bet you are.
I've got 7 points to work with. I'm okay with losing a point this week because I want it to happen. Northwestern wins.
We've done some stupid stuff on this show. You have no idea. If Northwestern leads at halftime, you'll have no idea how mad I'm going to be at you. I'm just going to be so ticked.
John's picking Northwestern. Paul is picking Northwestern.
Stop it. You all are the worst.
I am looking forward to this. Christy, you're going to have to drive with him and film it. And do that. Or you can take one of your daughters. I'm sure they would love to film you as you jump into Lake Michigan.
Knowing my daughters, they'd be upset because they couldn't go too.
They'd be so proud. Western hosts Louisiana Tech. Christy says, we all know Northwestern won't win. Gross. Western hosts Louisiana Tech.
You see,
I'm taking WKU against Louisiana Tech.
Why do you think I'm gross? You have a problem with me? Never mind.
She doesn't like your body.
I all of a sudden realized where I was.
Your body disgusts you, Leroy.
Yeah, clearly.
The girl's going with you to record it is gross.
Well, I'm not going to be butt naked. That's a Sam thing.
That's what you agreed to. I'm just saying.
That's not what I agreed to.
Paul is picking WKU.
Who do we play?
WKU hosts Louisiana Tech.
Oh, WKU. Go Tops. Stand up
Paul-
and cheer up for dear old Western.
What?
I messed up. Shut up. I knew it as soon as I said it. I messed up.
I was like, what are you saying? Christy's picking WKU, so WKU is America's pick this week. If Ohio State wins, does Paul jump in the lake?
Hey, to be fair, that's a much longer drive for Paul than it is for me, okay?
Yeah, I don't think that is in the agreement because that kind of defeats the entire purpose of the bet because I don't know. Bengals host. Why does it say that? Bengals. Okay, I guess I didn't update this aspect of it. Bengals on Sunday Night Football travel to. No, I am not jumping in Lake Michigan. Absolutely not. No. If Kentucky basketball wins the national championship, maybe, but I'm not jumping into Lake Michigan. That doesn't make sense. Lake Michigan makes sense because that's
Erie?
where Northwestern is.
Can we get you to go into Erie?
No, if anything else, I would have to jump into like Rough River or something.
I tell you to jump into the Ohio River, but we'd never see you again.
Yeah, that's death.
I know.
That's
so we never see you again.
That's death. Bengals on Sunday Night Football, though, travel to. I almost just had to do a naughty and say San Diego. No, they travel to LA to take on the Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Leroy, who you got?
Bengals overcome.
Leroy's got the Bengals. I'm going to take the Bengals too, but this is a tough game. Must win though for the Bengals. Their offense is playing well. Chargers are a good team though, and
Harbaugh's done fantastic with that team, man. It's been a real nice thing to see him getting to Herbert and doing good things with that Chargers team.
John's taking the Bengals. Christy is taking the Bengals as well. And let's see what else America is going to go along with. But I guess that should be the pick there of us going on the Bengals. Paul will probably pick the Chargers. I knew it. I knew it. Knew it was going to come that way. The Bears take on the Packers. Sorry, Leroy. Packers.
No,
Packers. Who are you picking?
That team.
The Bears?
No.
Packers or the Bears? It's
the other team.
The Bears.
The other team.
I'm not.
Don't do this, Mr. Steeler man. Okay.
I'm not following. So you're taking the Bears. Okay. Okay, and America. Caleb throws 3 pick sixes, says John.
Well, that'd be news because John, he hasn't thrown a pick 6 since week 3. So he doesn't throw interceptions. He just gets sacked. Nice try, though.
What would Chicago media do if he threw 3 pick sixes against the Packers?
You know what? I'd be fine with it because at least he's throwing the ball and not taking sacks. I'm all right with him throwing picks right now. I tell you what, because all I've seen is him just hold the ball for 6 seconds and get sacked.
You okay? Everything okay? You okay? Are you sure? Everything's good? Okay.
Yeah. John's ridiculous. He ain't going to throw 3 pick sixes unless Thomas actually gets him to get out of his shell a little bit and throw the ball.
We need to go in here and let's have some fun here. We've done enough, and we're going to a big rivalry game here as one of our games of the week.
Oh,
big rivalry game.
I swear, you go with Tulane, I'm kicking your butt.
Rutgers travels to Maryland.
I thought you hated Big Ten matchups, man.
Which is why I'm making you pick it. Rutgers at Maryland.
Maryland.
Leroy is picking Maryland. I will pick Maryland as well.
You said he's throwing picks, John.
And Leroy will be able to pick it up. So Paul's going to be at Georgia Southern Troy.
I'm going to be at
pretty good.
Illinois versus Michigan State for some reason.
I will be at Center versus Swanee.
I have no idea why I'm going to be at Michigan State versus Illinois, but here we are.
Okay, America, we're going to need your picks for Rutgers at Maryland to throw it in the comment section there.
I had a chance to go to Northwestern versus Michigan. I have a free ticket for me to go see Northwestern play Michigan the 23rd, but I have 2 basketball games that day, and I cannot get my wonderful coworkers to fill in for me, so I will have to miss.
Oh, Rutgers and Maryland. It's split here. Christy, if Christy would like to break the tie, she can. Rutgers and Maryland.
I think if it was one game, I think if it was one game, I could get those guys to fill in for me, but I won't be able to get two.
The Terrapins. Come on, Christy, make the pick and break our tie with it. Rutgers at Maryland. Rutgers at Maryland. Who do you want in that game? Who is the winner? You have to break the tie.
Yell at me
America.
for picking crap football games.
Maryland is America's pick for this week. Sorry, John. What's your game of the week, Leroy?
My game of the week is number 24 Missouri taking on number 23 South Carolina at the Gamecocks.
Let's see. When is that game? Like, what time of day? That is an afternoon game on SEC Network. That's kind of interesting.
I think you're right, Paul.
Aren't you getting sick? That is right. That is right. You could be getting sick with that. So he is doing Mizzou at South Carolina, and I'm going to take South Carolina. Who are you taking, Leroy?
South Carolina, but I think this game will be closer than what the final score will show.
Alrighty, that is Leroy's first pick of the week. And for my second one here this week, you know I love a good Hawaii game, Leroy.
You do.
Hawaii travels to Utah State. In fact, the game doesn't even appear to be on television. So, Leroy, Hawaii at Utah State. Who do you got?
Utah State.
Leroy's going with the homestanding Utah State. I'm going to take Hawaii. John is picking Utah, which is not in the game, but that's okay. I'm assuming he means Utah State, which is fine. However you want to do it, right? And now Paul is sending me a picture on Facebook Messenger, which I got to be careful. This might be a finger. Let's see what it says here. Oh, that's actually pretty funny. That's funny. What Paul just sent me.
I love inside jokes. I would be a part of one someday.
You know what? I'll forward it to you. I don't care. Paul, can I forward it to Leroy? You know what? What's he going to do to me? I just sent it to you. Utah State is America's pick for this week. Did you see what he sent? I just sent it to you on your Facebook. It's honestly Facebook profile picture worthy.
Yeah. All right, Sam.
Okay, last one.
I'm going to let you pick my second game. A, B, C, or D?
E.
C, E?
C. Yeah, C never fails. It's not easy for me to put it on the screen, Paul. My computer, if I try to do that, will quit. I have two screens. I have two different computers, and I was looking at it on the other computer. I'll try to get it next week.
Chiefs versus Bills. That's my game C.
The game's in Buffalo, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to say that the dark magic finally runs out, and the Bills win.
Well, crap, because that's who I was going to go with, but I'm trying to gain ground on you, so I'll take the idiotic Chiefs for the win. But I'm not happy about it.
Well, we're not. I mean, we've been different. I mean, you're going to get the opportunity to gain a point if Grayson County can win.
Yeah.
You're, and if we're being honest, you're getting a free point in. So Bills and Bills. So it is going to be Bills there. You're getting a free point because we're just wanting Northwestern to win. None of us actually. Sorry, Christy, your comment isn't working. It's wild. It won't go on the screen. It's amazing how it works that way. Sometimes Paul's works, John's works, but hers won't work. It's wild how it works that way, right? I mean, like this comment works, that comment works, but not that one. It's interesting. Because I don't think America or myself actually thinks Northwestern is going to win. We just want it just for the video.
I figured that was the case.
And I think, what are we going to say here? It needs to be done by the end of the year?
Yeah.
And what's the punishment if you don't do it then? We need to find a... how about this? If you don't do it, it has to be naked.
Fine. I need you to understand that would be one of the biggest upsets in program history.
But like I said, and we made it. The Ohio State every couple of years loses a game like this.
I know.
They did it to Purdue a couple of years ago.
Yep.
And the 14 Northwestern fans at Wrigley Field will storm. Because it'll probably be a pro Ohio State. Will it be pro Ohio State?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Did you try to go to that?
Yeah, but the tickets are like $250, and I just don't feel like paying $250 to go watch my team just get destroyed. Mm-hmm. It's just not worth it for me.
Mm-hmm.
If
not even since it's at Wrigley.
Yeah, if we were playing like, and I've thought about going to the Illini game because Northwestern Illini wouldn't be bad because that's somewhat decent. But like, I don't know, man. I'm just not a big fan of paying all that money to go watch my team get their butts kicked.
I guess Big Ten championship would be the only exception.
Correct. And there was the one year that we we played against Justin Fields when he was Ohio State's quarterback. I looked at tickets for that game just to see how much it was, and I almost pulled the trigger. I think I had some kind of work commitment. Knowing me, I had some work commitment.
Doesn't sound like us.
I know. I couldn't go even if I wanted to.
That could. I mean, listen, we don't ever have to work. What are you talking about?
Yes, that is obviously that would be amazing. It will never happen again because of the way they changed it, but
it'll be exciting. So I guess you have college basketball then this weekend that you're broadcasting.
I actually have a game on Thursday that I'm broadcasting.
You're off. You get a Friday night off?
I do. I have a Friday night off. Wow. I have basketball Thursday. I'm going to go watch football on Saturday, and then nothing on Sunday because both UISs, both men's and women are out of town for the weekend. So
I'll have Cougs on Friday night as they try to go to the region championship for the first time since 1982. And the wild part is, Leroy, if they win this game, which they are favored to do so, and they win next week, they would play my alma mater, almost assuredly, which would be cool. There's no question about that. Paul wants to know if you're taking Christy out on a date night Friday night.
We'll see. She's been kind of a butthead this week. We'll see.
Leroy's sleeping on the couch. Hey, who's ready for a Washington Commanders victory? That's right. They play tomorrow against the Eagles. Thursday night, back-to-back good games for them.
That was game A for me that we didn't pick.
What were the other ones that I didn't?
I had Commanders, Eagles, Tulane at Navy, Tennessee at Georgia, and Chiefs at Bills.
I would have picked Tulane. Would you have picked Navy?
Mm-hmm.
Leroy's sleeping in the car. Sleeping in the car tonight, apparently. Uh-oh. He's in the doghouse. He's in the dog.
We want to go eat on Friday night, Christy.
I'm waiting to see that door sling open in the back. And something's just going to fling across the room. She's going to throw a frying pan at your head or something. And
there's
I don't know.
There's a guy on social media who always makes wisecracks at his wife, but she played like semi-professional softball. So every time she throws the ball, it hits him in the head. Every time she throws anything, it always nails him in the back of the head.
I'm just waiting. Sometimes I think he wishes my phone died. He wasn't watching. Never. He wishes you watched every time.
Everyone to watch.
Time. Next week, we'll talk about how Grayson County does. Maybe they'll be playing for region championship next week. That'll be kind of fun. We get to pick basketball for the first time.
Yeah.
So luckily,
should we do a college basketball preview?
I mean, we can. Yeah, college basketball's been going a couple of weeks. We can talk about that as well. But luckily with the high school games too is is that I get to actually ask some questions about these teams, that
Yeah.
we get to go back into questions. Because right now, record's the only thing we're knowing in football. Plus,
Yeah.
I get the opportunity to get some points. But yeah, we can talk some college basketball some more next
Yeah,
week.
like I said, I had two college signings today for Taylorville seniors. It's crazy when you watch these girls when they're freshmen and now they're all graduating. It's weird, man. But yeah,
So
one girl's going to Southeast Missouri and the other one's playing at UIS.
So it's funny. I'm not a nickname guy on air, like to players. Like I don't, but the quarterback and wide receiver are cousins, and they both have the last name Chaffins here. So
Okay.
Chaffins to Chaffins. So what we've come up with is the nickname of the law firm of Chaffins and Chaffins. And over the last couple of weeks, I've kind of dropped it in there a little bit, and it's kind of caught steam. Like the people kind of like it. So today we posted a graphic of the law firm of Chaffins and Chaffins. They're here for you, like when you need it. And like they're now going to make like T-shirts off of it and everything. So it's just kind of funny that it's a pretty cool thing. Aaron wants to know who's Caleb Williams, asking for a friend. Leroy loves him. He loves him. That's whoever it is. Getting old, Leroy. It happens fast.
That's true.
I absolutely
don't know about that yet, man.
I'm starting to get gray.
Like, shut up!
In my old beard,
This guy, man.
I like when I shave, I look down and I'm like,
he's like over there. There we go. This guy.
When I look down, I'm like shaving. I'm like, that's gray hair. I'm like, I need to get out of this dang radio industry. It's gonna make me go gray before I'm. How gray are you?
Side.
Well, now are you gonna go all in, or are you going to like diet?
I mean,
you shave, but what about the beard? Like, would you?
Oh, if the beard goes gray, I'm gonna try to keep that black forever.
So you will?
Yeah, I'm gonna fight it. I already lost my hair, man. I'm fighting the beard.
Hey, yeah, Leroy's so gray it's invisible.
Actually, I caught some light in the mirror the other day, and I was like, "Is that gray? Is that?" And I was like pulling it up and like examining it like a dork.
But I mean, you're almost 60, so it's you're closer to 60 than I am. What 44? Is that right?
No.
3? 43?
No.
How old are you?
42.
Oh, I was gonna get there at some point. But hey, I mean, AARP's coming soon. You're gonna be getting gray. Honestly, I am surprised that you aren't a little bit more gray.
Thanks, Christy. Thanks.
At least she knows how old she is. I'm sure she's not gray.
She looks amazing.
Good job. Tried to dig himself out of the hole. Right away.
I was the one who remembered that it was the first day that we met. Today marks the first day that we met. I remembered that. She didn't remember that.
It's because the worst day of her life. It's all downhill sense.
No idea how she picked me knowing that I was in the Army and I was gone all the time. She was crazy, man. Hey, John, who are you kissing tonight? Oh, wait.
Wow. Now that apologize.
Absolutely
apologize
not.
Right now.
Absolutely not.
Apologize. That was mean. Mike, I am sorry, John, for his.
I'm not.
I know that the Bears struggled over the weekend, but you don't have to take it out on one of our more loyal listeners and poor John Malone. How have I dealt with him for 15 years? I have no idea. Listen. He luckily was smart enough to have you have children, so now you're kind of tied to him in a way. When don't the Bears struggle, Aaron says.
Dude, you are a Commanders fan. You've had 1 year of success in the last 30 years. I don't know what you're talking about.
Poor John. Apologize. That was not nice. That was really not nice.
The man literally makes fun of me all podcast long every night.
You know what, Lurpy?
Lo siento, John.
Okay, look at you, Mr. Spanish. 100 of these shows felt like 15 years to me too, Christy. Paul, it's only episode, I think what are we today? 79.
79.
79. So we're getting, we'll be at 100 episodes before too long.
We're
Probably at about our 2 year.
Yeah, we're going to have a big 100th anniversary bash. It's going to be great.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
News
we're
to me.
We're going to bring all our old guests back on the show.
Which we've only had, what, 2?
2. No, I think for our 100th, we need to get Caleb and John Alden on the show. We need to get a few of the
John Alden. Oh, okay. I see the Red Zone guys on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I was like John Alden. I was like, sure, we can get John. John's a good guy. In fact, I think him and his wife are having a kid. I think they just announced that.
They are.
Which is all. Love from the doghouse. Here's Leroy. Live from the doghouse. Here's Leroy. Not the first time you've been in there.
Won't be the last.
Won't be the last. Maybe by the end of the show, it won't be the last.
Oh, well. Yeah. Door hasn't opened yet.
She's just waiting out there.
I know.
She's waiting out there because she knows that if she comes in live, there's video evidence. But as soon as, she's prepping. Sure, even that, or she's going to pour a little bit extra into your apple juice tonight.
I just need you to understand, for every comment that I make, there's 10 in my head that I don't say out loud.
To your wife?
Yes.
Oh. Well, just drop 1 or 2 in there. She's not listening. You want me to ban her? I can ban her right now.
No.
Oh, I know, she says. Oh, I know. That'll probably wrap us up here.
We don't need to end the show.
No?
We can keep going. We have so much more to talk about.
Oh, is there? What do you have to talk about right now? I mean, we've done our picks. Leroy, one day the Bears will be successful. Maybe they need a new.
We got
another Commanders fan in here.
No, it's the same dude.
Oh,
he's just on his other account.
Oh, I was gonna say Schrodinger Slurpee after the podcast. Is he dead? Is he alive? Oh, it's the same way over here, so it's all good. Oh, Christy, what do you have to say against Leroy? Now I want to hear one of these. Because the thing is, you can say whatever you want, and it's okay. It's the pro of being the wife, right? What's more likely? Leroy makes it to next week's podcast, the Bears beat the Packers. Now, that's a question. Or let's throw it in there, or Northwestern beats Ohio State.
I make it to next week's podcast. That's the most likely scenario out of this.
Would you be more confident in the Bears winning or Northwestern winning?
Bears.
Northwestern covering?
Yes.
What even is the spread? I don't even know what's
14. I bet it's 14. Is it worse? 35?
28.5.
28. I might take that. I can't bet on Chicago sports, but I would take that. That's not a bad one.
28.5 in a full body cast, Paul says. 28.5 Northwestern over Ohio State. So again, to recap our pick contest too from this week, because I don't know that I really went through and did that. You and America are both going with Grayson County. We're all with Kentucky. Myself and America is with Northwestern beating Ohio State, just for the reason enough of you having to jump into Lake Michigan. We're all with the Tops against La Tech. We're all with the Bengals against the Chargers. We're all with the Packers against the Bears. We're all with Maryland against Rutgers. I'm the lone one with Hawaii against Utah State. We're all with South Carolina against Missouri. Myself and America are with the Bills for this. What is the spread on the Bears game, Paul
14?
asks? No way. Where is it? Is it at Lambeau?
No, Chicago, I think.
I'm going to say then I have not looked yet. You've seen me. I'm looking over here, and my screen is on this side. I'm going to say 6.5 Packers. 5 Packers. Okay. Packers by 5.
Okay.
Packers by 5 with that. And that'll probably be a spread that I will stay
And I
away
think,
from.
honestly, I'm not lying. I think that number increased when Waldron got fired.
I'm looking here. Detroit is a 13.5 point home favorite against the Jags.
I have their defense this week in fantasy. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, and that might be one that they actually covered. They might actually cover that. Can you bet on Chicago pro sports?
Yes, I cannot bet on Chicago's colleges or Illinois. I cannot bet on in Illinois. It's illegal to bet on colleges from Illinois. You can bet. You can bet on everything else. You just can't.
Is
bet
it legal
on
in Missouri?
I think so.
Just head across the border. It's not that far, right?
No,
How confident are you?
I'm about an hour from the border.
Yeah, nothing else to do this weekend.
Take that for 100. Yeah. Speaking of take that for 100, did you see Jerry Jones' comments about the blind spot in Cowboy Stadium?
I saw some stuff, but I realized I didn't actually care what he said.
I have to pull it up because his comments were pretty funny. Let me see.
Kentucky, it's only been legal about a year, Paul. So I know your feeling there.
So Jerry Jones was asked about the blind spot that Ezekiel Elliott couldn't see the ball and the glare. And I thought this was a made-up post. I didn't think it was legit real. And I picked the one article that didn't actually say the quote. Awesome.
Good job. Good job. This is great podcasting.
Oh, all of these idiotic, like, clickbait, stupid. Here we go. Jerry Jones said, by the way, we know where the sun is going to be when we flip the coin. So we do know where the damn sun is going to be in our own stadium. Let's just tear this damn stadium down and build another one. Are you kidding me? Every team that comes in here has the same issues. They know where the sun is going to be. Every team has the same thing. I'm not saying it's on McCarthy. I'm saying the world knows where the sun is. We get to know that almost a year in advance. So someone asked me about the sun. What about the sun? Where's the moon? We're fine, but everybody plays in the sun out here. What is the actual...
That's an old man for you. That's an old man. That is an old
Paul and
man
I were talking because Paul put out Sanders to the Cowboys in the universe, and then all the media outlets picked it up. So if Sanders heads up going to the Cowboys, it's Paul Reeves' fault.
And see, they can't do that though because they just paid Dak.
Yeah, they just paid Dak a ton of money, man.
Yeah, they just paid Dak, and I don't really know what you can do with that. Instead, Shedur's going to just go to the Bears.
No, we have to wait 2 years and then send Caleb to the Steelers.
Paul, no politics. No politics. No politics. No politics.
No, I like that one. That's a good one.
No politics.
Go put that one up on the wall.
No politics. No. I think that's a sign that it's time for us to go home. Have a good night. Have a good rest of your night. We'll see you next week.